we have a powerhouse young woman on the line tonight to celebrate. And this beautiful young woman joined Isagenix last year in the fall in October of 2013. So she's been with Isagenix now just a little bit over a year. She's a certified personal trainer and a group fitness professional, and she's done that for over 10 years. She's also a clinical nutritionist, and in 2008 she opened her own private practice called Fueled for Life. And in those couple of years in practice, she actually partnered with a functional medicine office with a doctor, and she became their metabolic coordinator in their office. So she has an incredible background in health, nutrition, fitness, the whole package. She's talented. She's extremely bright. And she was able to retire herself in June of 2014, this year with Isagenix, which is really exciting. She's just 31 years old. She's a Colorado native. She loves to work out, cook, shop, watch football, spend time with her friends and family, travel, and she loved working with her team and people. She and her team were number 2 this year in Isagenix Isoderby competition. She is currently a 3-star Golden Circle, 3-star Crystal Executive, and this week she's making a run to 4-star Golden Circle, 4-star Crystal Executive. So everyone, welcome with me on the call, Ms. Lauren Sims. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi, Cindy. Oh, my gosh. I think my face is as bright as, like, Rudolph's nose right now.
You're so awesome.
My gosh.
Oh, well, we're so excited to have you on the call tonight. I love you. I had the opportunity to spend a week with Lauren just 2 weeks ago in Vegas, right before Thanksgiving at the GoPro Network Marketing Professional event. And we just had such an amazing week together. And just to spend time with her, she is just such a powerhouse, such a wealth of ideas, and she's so focused, and just so many great things about you, Lauren, sincerely. I was blessed to spend that time with you, and I'm super excited tonight to be on the call with everybody and sharing just your story. And that's kind of where we're going to start. We're going to get started tonight, and I'd love if you just tell us a little bit about kind of your background, some of the things that I just shared, and where you were at, what life looked like for you before Isagenix. I mean, the really good things, your education and all that, but then kind of where you were at right before you got started.
Absolutely. And I wanted to make sure everybody knows how much gratitude I have for you and all that you do for the company. And for those of you that do not know me, Cindy's story is actually the story that really had inspired me. Just over 1 year ago, I went to my first Isagenix University in Kansas City, November 7th, 8th, and 9th last year. And I went there wondering why I was there, thinking I was going to a Kool-Aid party. I mean, literally, it was like drugs, kicking and screaming. And then I heard Cindy's story, and it was her story that I was like, oh, my gosh. And I saw the vision, and I saw how many people we could help and the opportunity. And so it's fun to kind of be around here and just how this company has things circle around. But Cindy did a really good job of explaining my background, and I have always had a passion to help people. I mean, I got into the fitness industry really young in college, and I went back to school for my master's in nutrition, and just loved helping people. I loved coaching people, but I was always exchanging time for money, and there was a couple limitations in my practice or the field that I was in that were always really, really frustrating, and one of them was that exchange for time for money, and knowing that I would never be able to generate any sort of income unless I was on the clock. And so the idea of going on vacation was almost unfathomable, not because I couldn't afford the cost of a vacation, but the cost of not working for a week, coupled with the cost of a vacation, was just astronomical a lot of times. And the other major limitation was that I felt like I couldn't help as many people as I wanted to. If I was in my office 12 or 14 or 16 hours a day, back-to-back with clients, I used to always think there was so many people that needed to know what I was telling. There were so many people that could benefit from nutrition therapy, and I felt so limited. I could only see 10 people or 12 people a day. And so I was always motivated, and I was curious about what else was out there and listening and learning. And what Cindy didn't tell you is that years ago, I had done Isagenix as just someone trying the products. And when I was in school, I thought it would be really important for me to do everything my clients had done. And so there was a period of time where like every 6 weeks or 8 weeks, I was kind of on a new diet or program. And so I had been vegan and I had been raw and I had, done different programs like Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig. And in that slew of trying different programs, I had done the Isagenix 9-day. And my cousin had a friend that had been in the business for a really long time, and she was the one that was like, she should try this with everything else, and I loved it. I remember feeling amazing. I remember it was the first time in a decade that I wasn't drinking coffee, and I did release weight. I didn't have weight really to lose them, but I did release weight, and I just was shocked with my energy and my cravings, and I loved it. But at the time, I was not interested in it at all. I was in school. I was opening up my own practice, and I at the time didn't want anything to do with network marketing or supplements that anybody could recommend. At the time, I was laser focused on what was limited to practitioners and trying to be distinguished. So years later, I was at a point, this was actually last year, going into quarter 4 of 2013, and my bookkeeper, who was also a good friend, had come down to do my books, and she just said, I love you, but you're broke, and we've got to change some things. And I just remember sitting there, and I shortly turned 30, and I was like, seriously? And she's like, you can't do what you're doing, and you work your butt off. You're at the doctor's office, you're in your practice, you're training, you're teaching classes, you're waiting tables. And she's like, and you have nothing to show for it. And I had high overhead. I had a lot of debt. I had student loans. And it was, even on a good week or a good month, I just seemed to always be making it. And I went through a kind of a point where I was contemplating if I was going to leave my practice and go with the docs full-time, where maybe I would have a salary, or go into my practice full-time. And I started chatting with a friend of mine who opened his own group fitness studio and trying to see if we could collaborate together. And he was super excited about it, and we sat down, and he wanted to work with another company. And as I thought we were going to 0 to 60 on something, I just said, I can't support that company. And he asked why, and I just said, because I could never recommend something I wouldn't take, and I just don't think the quality of ingredients are that great. And he said, well, name a better one. And I had suggested Isagenix. I'd known about it from years ago, and he trusted my opinion and my confidence in the products. But I said, well, there's absolutely no way I'm doing the business. I can help cleanse coach them, but I'm not doing the business. And he asked why, and I, elaborated that I was distinguished and didn't want to do network marketing. But my ulterior motive was thinking that if he had recommended somebody to me with someone that had colitis or Crohn's or needed me outside of Isagenix, I would have clients. So I called my cousin who had been doing Isagenix for a while, and I said, I'm partnering with this gym, and I think we're going to do Isagenix. And, of course, as you can imagine, as business builders, she was lit up, and she's like, oh, my gosh, I just got a nutritionist and a trainer. And I was like, no, it's not like that, and I can't do this until January. And she said, why not? And I said, I'm getting ready to go into quarter 4, which is not only the slowest time of the year. People are not jumping out of the woodworks in November and December to work with a nutritionist. But I also had paid off the most amount of debt I'd ever had. I had an extension from the IRS from 2012 taxes. All of my registration for my personal training, group fitness, liability insurance, all of it was due. It was literally over a $20,000 a month, and I just said, I can't do it, but I'll do it in January when things get busier again. And she took a leap of faith and somehow probably had some sixth sense blessing of what was about to happen, and she purchased a pace setter pack for me. I remember getting the confirmation and just thinking, like, I didn't buy this. That's strange. Really grateful, and telling her, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go through the whole 30 days system. I'd only ever done the 9-day and learned the program. And a couple of days later, pretty low and out of the woodwork to me, my boyfriend of 4.5 years broke up with me on the spot. And I ended up moving into a brand new apartment, and after first and last month's rent and all of the bills I had just explained to you, I was in my apartment with $17 to my name. And when you're at that moment of like rock bottom and you just think nothing else could get any worse, for me, I am just an optimistic person. And I just remember sitting there thinking, all of this is happening for a reason, and I don't know what's about to shine through, but whatever it is, I have to give it my all because it's going to be a sign. I remember having thoughts like that and just being able to be okay with the situation, hopeful of what was about to change. And later on that night, Janie Elo called me, and she had heard about my story, and I remember her asking me two things. One of them was, what would it take for me to make it worth my time? And I just remember thinking, no one's ever asked me how much I was worth. And the second thing she told me is that she didn't do this for the money, that she had been financially free since her 20s and that she thought this was a mission business and that she could help me. And I trusted her immediately. And she said, well, what do you need most right now? And I said, a bed. And she mapped out Crystal Manager for me. And so where the first couple of weeks I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, I was on the products myself. I was sharing with my friends and family, and I was literally telling people, I don't know what I'm doing. I believe in this company. I believe in the products. I want you to do this with me. I don't want to do it by myself. And people were trusting me. I went to ICU, and Janie and my cousin were really adamant that I get to an event. And to this day, I'm so grateful that they brought me there because I didn't want to be there, and I didn't know what I was going and what I was getting myself into. But it was that event that I really understood our company. I really understood the vision. I saw the opportunity at hand. I realized I could help massive and massive amounts of people. I realized that there was an opportunity that would not only set me financially free, but my friends and my family and my children that are not born yet, but I envision having, and I just came back really laser focused, 0 to 60, and thought this will never happen again. And I was motivated by Emily Haver, and I was motivated by Susan Fly and Cindy Hedges, and pretty much the rest is history. And I, as Cindy said, have just been running and sharing with as many people as I can ever since.
I love it. Lauren, that is so amazing. So many things that you just shared. I mean, just for you to be as talented as you are, to have the incredible background that you do, to have had as much success as you have had, and yet you still went through a hard time. You got to a place where things were just really challenging for you financially. You were in a hole, what'd you say, like about $20,000 in a tax bill and just everything coming to a head. And, a very important, significant relationship ending, and you ended up, I know you were telling me, in your little apartment with nothing. And I think your dad was going through some real health challenges, too, so a lot was coming down on your family. You didn't even want to share with your mom and dad where you were at because you didn't want to put pressure on them, so you just felt pretty alone and on your own. And I just want to encourage anybody that's on the phone tonight that if that's your situation, if you're brand new looking at Isagenix, you're just kind of getting started, or maybe you've been doing Isagenix for a while and it just hasn't been maybe what you've hoped for it to be yet, that there's still such a bright light and so much hope with this opportunity. And don't feel discouraged if you're in a really tough time that is making you take action, because that's where Lauren was at. That was her catalyst for change. I mean, she needed something to change in her life. She wanted something more. And Isagenix was an answer to that. And then I loved when you shared that story with me about Janie calling you. I mean, just share a little bit more about that, like what that meant. I mean, at first it was a little bit like, who are you and why are you calling me? But then that you, a lot of times we get on the phone and we get so in our head that we don't make those calls and we don't take a step of faith, and because we're making it about us instead of that other person. I love what Janie said, that she didn't do it for the money, and she really hasn't. Janie has a heart of gold. She really, it's almost like a game for her. It's been really fun and amazing for her to create the success that she has, and she's enjoyed it. She's helped so many people, but it's never been about the money for Janie. It really is about, she's good at it. She's really, really good at it, and she can share the gifts and the talents that she has with other people and really help them change their situation in life. And so she reaches out with that kind of a heart. And maybe just share a little bit more about that, Lauren, just like what you'd encourage people, like if they get in their head instead of their heart, and what it meant to you that Janie was willing to do that.
Oh, my gosh, totally. That's what this is all about. And Cindy, you are such the example of that as well. the number one thing when I'm first talking to someone about the opportunity or trying to encourage them to share it with other people, so many people are like, well, what do I say? Or, I don't want them to think I'm selling something. And I'll say to them, well, do you think I sold you something? And they're like, well, no, I'm so glad you called me. I'm like, well, don't you think there's somebody out there that's thinking the same thing, that will be so grateful that you thought about them? And people will say, well, I just don't know what to say to them. And I say, well, why did you think about that person? Why did that person pop up into your mind in the first place? And they'll say something like, well, because they're a mom and they work really hard and they take care of everybody else besides themselves, and they really deserve this, and I just know it would really help them and it would fit into their lifestyle and something that I know that they could do. I'm like, that's exactly what you need to say. And sometimes trying to not overcomplicate it and just bring people into that place of authenticity and that place of what's genuine. There's a reason that maybe I thought about Cindy instead of Sam, or there was a reason I thought about Beth instead of Eric. And you have to think about why you have that feeling about them and then come to that place that you're caring about them. And so I, for a long time, had written on my mirror, and I also had it as the background of my computer. It said, what if Janie had not called me? Mm-hmm. And I moved into this apartment, and after the very first night that I was super sad and just frustrated and had no idea what was happening, then I got to work immediately. And I remember like a week or two into it thinking, like, I've never cried in this apartment, because I got busy and I would come home and I was listening to podcasts and I was client coaching people and I was enrolling people, and I was immediately surrounding myself with so much good energy and so much positivity. And I was not only helping other people improve their lives, but they were improving mine. I was having this sense of fulfillment I'd never had, and gratitude and excitement of what lied ahead. And I literally used to have that written out, and I would think, and I still think when I difficult calls, what if Janie had not called me? And I think if you put yourself in her shoes, and she's many states away from me, had never met me, had heard about my story from a friend of a friend of a friend, and she was so courageous to just say, I'm going to make a difference in this young girl's life. I know I can. And she said, I'm going to pick up the phone. I mean, what does she have to lose? Nothing. But what could she gain, or what could she offer? The sky's the limit. And so a lot of times I think when you are connecting with people and you feel like you're in that place of, oh, if they think I'm selling something, or, oh, if I'm making money off of them, is you just have to remember that you have the most amazing, incredible gift. And whether a lot of the people are just looking for the solution, we all started there. We all started as raving product fans. And even if people only use the products and never do a business with it, that's okay. You've impacted their life. I mean, obesity and heart issues and blood sugar issues, I mean, it's a huge cause in U.S. health today. So have something, one of the best products in the world, to say, I can make a difference in your life and I care about you, and let me show you something. And people will always embrace gratitude for that. And then when you're sharing the opportunity, it's getting to their why and their wants. And when you get out of your mind and stop worrying about what are they going to think about you, and you are more focused on how it's going to benefit them and just asking questions, I feel like that type of conversation just immediately goes away, because you're really listening to someone. And people will tell you, oh, my gosh, I would love to be able to take a family on vacation this year. Or, oh, my gosh, it would be great to be able to get XYZ fixed on the house. Or it would be great to buy a new car. We've had the same old car for 10 years. And you have that ability to impact those lives. And I don't know what it is. I mean, Cindy will tell you afterwards, but, 80,000, 90,000 people have stemmed down from her original product experience. And it started because she had this amazing, amazing result, changed her body, changed her energy, and she shared with her friends and family, that shared with her friends and family, that shared with her friends and family. And 8 years later, 60,000 plus people between us, I came in, saw an opportunity, and you just keep going that way. And you just have to remember that it has nothing to do with you, and it's just all about people that are looking for this, that are looking for more energy, looking for better sleep, looking for weight loss, or looking for another source of income, supplemental income or financial freedom. And it's up to us to get the word out, because we won't ever have retail marketing. And I just always tell my team, what if someone hadn't shared it with you? Because if you have benefited from the product, so you want the opportunity, that means you're so glad someone had to tell you about it, and it's selfish not to pay it forward, I think.
Absolutely. I agree completely with that. Absolutely. I mean, oh my gosh, again, so many amazing things that you just shared there. I love, like you said, it's the truth. We have the most amazing gift to share with people. And for us, I mean, we were in Spokane, at least, all a bunch of fitness girls. We all had 10 to 12 sticky pounds in our body and wanted to lean up. And Isagenix does that so effectively. It just leaned us up. We saw our girlfriends wanted to do it. And you're right. We just created a whole bunch of raving fans. I mean, everybody was super excited about it. They couldn't stop talking about it. And that shifts your mindset to, you know, oh my gosh, I can help you. I can help you with this. If you're tired, a tired mom, a tired dad, somebody with too much weight on them, or they just ache all over and they don't feel well, Isagenix has solutions that address all those needs in people's lives, and they can totally help people with that. And then beyond that, it can be so much more. Like, we totally understand Isagenix is food. It's essential today in this market. We have a toxic environment, and we have very depleted foods. Nutritionally, our bodies need this nutrition. And so it fits that perfectly, and when you can redirect a portion of money you're already spending and start to create income off of money that used to just be expenses and gone, it's a win-win-win for everybody. And so let's double back to what you were talking about, Lauren. So as you got started, you came home from ICU. I know you were fired up. You got focused. You made the commitment. And, again, that's where it starts for everyone, guys. It's making the decision to get into action. Isagenix is a vehicle to broaden, to increase your reach and impact. And that's certainly what it's been for you, Lauren, what you said. I mean, you were already impacting people's lives every single day, doing what you were doing as a clinical nutritionist, as a fitness professional, as a trainer, but it was on a smaller scale. So let's talk about coming back from ICU, getting focused. What did that look like for you as far as your first step, you know, getting into action to start on this path to really create impact and reach with this vehicle of Isagenix?
Totally. No, that's a really, really good question. And if people remember, I actually went to ICU as a crystal director and had zero idea how I got there for the most part. I was so excited about this. I was just talking to people, and I literally remember just talking to people in my team and saying, where does this go? What do I do now? This person got there too. And they were just helping with tree placement, and I really had no idea what I was doing. And I remember Susan Fly teaching ACMDE and writing out what an associate was, what a consultant was, what a manager was, what director was, what executive was, and getting it. And she said at the very end, to get to executive, that's 31 people in your business center, 10 people that you've personally enrolled that went out and found 2. And I sat there and said, 31 people, that's like the size of my small spin class. That's like half of my spin class. I'm like, that's such a small amount of people, like 31 people. And I had zero network marketing experience, and what I had always assumed was that you had to have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people to be able to do anything with it. That I was like, 31 people, I could do that tomorrow. I mean, I got it. It just clicked, and I was supposed to have a launch party the following week. It was going to be my second launch party, at-home tasting party, and I ended up on the plane. I'm like messaging everybody, texting everybody, canceling the launch party, and deciding to do my first business builder training. And I had, again, really no idea except this burning desire and this excitement coming back from ICU and just understanding the rank advancement bonuses. That was all I got, but I was like, we are so new. We're brand new. I was like, you guys, it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, 6 months to hit these goals. And I was thinking, like, you know, $1,000 for helping 10 people find their 2. I'm never going to make $1,000 like that again. And 31 people are going to look and feel amazing. And that excitement and that enthusiasm, I just shared with people. And I was on different podcasts, and people would talk about, you know, forming your board of directors. And I don't know if we ever really did it that way, but I grabbed my best friend, and I grabbed my sister, and I grabbed my mom, and I grabbed my cousin. And it was this open, transparent book of, I'm brand new. I'm not an expert, but I knew what I wanted to go. I saw the opportunity, and it was like, let's do it together. It'll be so much more fun. And that was the way we built our business. Cindy had talked about that we were number 2 in ISA Derby, and I remember when the contest came out and I didn't know what that was, and Janny was like, you have to form a team. And I was asking people if they wanted to be on this team, and people were like, oh, no, I'm not going to work as hard as you. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but we can go to St. Thomas. And people literally were, like, turning down the option to be on my team. Ended up finding a group of people that said they would do it, and we went to New Year's kickoff. And I remember sitting in Dallas, and it came up on the screen we were number 1. And we all were like, what? What are we doing? And people, we had these coats that said 5280 on them, and so they knew. They're like, what do you guys, everyone was asking us questions, and we literally didn't even know. We didn't understand how the point structure was working. We just were like, we're just telling everybody. And so the ISA Derby, which is based on recruiting, enrolling, and rank advancing, I was like, that's all we were doing. And it was because of this excitement. Like Cindy said, we had trainers and group fitness instructors that were working out 10, 15 hours a week and didn't have the bodies they wanted. And they had hopped on these products, and all of a sudden they saw their abs for the first time, or they weren't sore after every workout, or they weren't exhausted. And it was so easy to just share with our friends and family. But some of the best advice that my leaders and mentors, and Janny and Cindy and Michael and people had shared with me, is that you have to set your goals, and you have to be in daily consistent action. The people that I've seen in and out of the game, it's like that's how your business is going to treat you. But if you're just constantly putting forth the effort, you're on a podcast, you're connecting with 2 to 3 new people a day, you're following up with 2 to 3 new people a day, you're doing some personal development, inevitably it'll happen. But you just have to constantly stay in that game. And when they talk about the goals, whether you're doing this part-time or full-time, your goals could be totally different. But if I had said I'm enrolling 3 people by Sunday, and it was Saturday afternoon, and I had only enrolled 3, and I wasn't going out to dinner with my friends, I wasn't watching TV, I was laser focused. I was like, I'm going to get that 3rd enrollment because it was more important to me at the time. It still is. And that's not an expectation for everybody. I believe that Isagenix fits into your lifestyle and will meet you where it's what you want. But the sky's the limit. And if you treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. And if you treat it like a business, financial freedom is right in your fingertips. But I think just mapping out exactly what you want and just treating it like anything else, and it'll really reward you that way. Wouldn't you say, Cindy?
Absolutely. And I've seen it. We've been doing Isagenix now 8 years, and we have a huge, amazing team and so many talented, sharp people, and the opportunity is real for everybody. It's seriously the level playing field. But what I see is exactly what you just said, Lauren, that the thing that will kill your business, the thing that will flip you up and create, just take the momentum and stall it, is the start, stop. Getting busy, getting crazy, really, really busy Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday a little, and then the rest of the weekend you don't even touch your business. You're not even talking to people or looking at people. It doesn't have to consume your life. It doesn't have to be your whole life. So many of us, and even you, Lauren, I know, because you were still working full time during the whole time you were building. So you just put it into the pockets of your life that you can fit it into, the small blocks of time that you can just quickly get into action. You just have to be organized and be willing to multitask, do a few things at the same time, and be disciplined. Just like you said, if you've made a goal, 3 people this week, you've got 2 people enrolled, it's Saturday morning, you're not going out Saturday night. You're going to get it done. And that is the key, guys, really, is having those goals in front of you and being disciplined. And not giving yourself a pass, letting yourself off the hook, but follow through, stay focused, stay motivated. You can set your goals to be whatever you want them to be, but when you set a goal, work hard to get it done, because that's where the consistency and the power come in the build, is being consistently in action. Have fun with it, but stay consistently engaged. Don't start, stop, for sure. And I love that, we say it all the time, and the simplest thing is just kind of that simple formula of make it your commitment, your goal to connect with 3 new people every single day. Again, our goal in Isagenix is simply to share the story, to connect people to the information, get them in front of the information, show them how Isagenix can meet a need in their lives. Isagenix meets needs for everybody. It absolutely will. Not everybody's going to say yes, but Isagenix can help everybody. So 3 new people a day. And then follow up with those 3 new people the next day or within 24 to 48 hours. So every single day you're meeting 3 new people, putting them in front of the information, at the same time following up with 3 people, and then making connections with at least 3 people on your team, pouring greatness into them, encouraging them, empowering them, partnering with them. Keep it simple just like that, but keep it consistent. And you want to do that a minimum of 5 days a week, I would say. And I'm sure, I know now, Lauren, when you got started, I mean, in the first month to month and a half, you personally enrolled how many people? I mean, you took massive action, like over 40 people in a month, and you started during the holidays.
I did.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I mean, because what I was doing was not necessarily duplicatable, I would maybe not do that. I mean, part of me, I love it. We did great group cleanses, and we did 60 days of health through the holidays and a New Year, New You program, and a 31 days to, the new year starting in December. We did a lot of these group cleanses, and it was awesome, and it was fun, and there was a lot of camaraderie and a lot of support. But I was so brand new that I was literally just talking about a 30-day system. I never shared the opportunity. I never was able to spend the time with people to help them find their 2 or create consultants on purpose. And so now I'm kind of circling back around to those people and saying, hey, remember last year when you did this thing? Like, I want you to do it with 2 friends, and because it happened just so fast. But I mean, on the flip side of that is what we said earlier, people are looking for this. I mean, it didn't matter that it was November and December. There was enough people that were sick and tired of being sick and tired. There was enough people that weren't going to holiday parties because none of their clothes fit, and we were giving them a solution before the new year. And so it was really fun. And I just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying on the way I built. I literally was doing this in the pockets of my time. I was working 80 hours a week at least before Isagenix, but I was getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and I would go to the gym and listen to a podcast. I would do a little bit of follow-up emails in the morning before I went to work and getting ready. I would listen to a book on tape or a podcast driving to work in the morning because I couldn't call people at like 6 a.m., but I was constantly trying to learn. And I had a break from 1 to 2 every day at the docks, and I would sit in my car, and I had 4 15-minute appointments. I mean, I was literally scheduling them, and 1 to 1:15, I would make a call, and at 1:15, I said, I'm sorry, my patient is here, I got to go, and I would call the second, and I would make 4 calls every day. And then when I got home at night, I did all of my follow-up emails. I would, try and answer cleanse coaching questions or reach out to people on Facebook or ways that I could work late at night without waking people up at 10, 11, 12, 1 in the morning, whatever I was doing. And on Saturdays and Sundays, I mean, I just poured into this because I wanted it. I did have that burning desire. And we don't want you to sacrifice all of your relationships or family time for this. I came out with that urgency because of the situation I was in. But, when I talk to my team now, I'm like, schedule your business hours. And if you say I'm doing Isagenix from 5 to 7 on Monday, get focused and don't be on Facebook and don't be watching TV and, treat it like a business. And what you can get done in 2 hours or 1 hour, 3 hours of non-interrupted time or uninterrupted time is really actually amazing. And saying, it's more important right now for me to help my friends get healthy than watch another episode of primetime TV. Or it's more important for me to listen to a podcast instead of Top 40 at the gym. And I think it's just amazing how those few changes really grow yourself and inspire you and then help you help others.
Absolutely. And let's go back through that because I think that is so important. I'm just going to highlight exactly what you said. So you're working 80 hours a week, little to no time to do much of anything else. So the way that you layered it in, so if you're writing notes, take this down. So early morning workout, when she was working out, she got up at 4 to 5. Not everybody's going to have to do that. Let's say you're at the gym at 7. From 7 to 8, you've got a podcast in your ears instead of listening to the Top 40. So it's an hour of feeding your mind, educating yourself with Isagenix on the product, on the opportunity, on whatever it is that you need to do. But 5 days a week, you're educating yourself and you're building your mind with knowledge. Then she had to go to work full-time, so she'd be at work until about 1 in the afternoon. They had a 1-hour lunch break, and she'd schedule that 1-hour lunch break with 4 15-minute appointments. 4 15-minute appointments. Think of this, guys, because a lot of times what's ominous about getting on the phone is you're a little bit nervous. What am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? You've only got a very small amount of time. Susie, I just wanted to reach out to you and connect with you. I've got something really exciting I want to share with you, and I'm wondering, is this a good time right now for me to give you some information, or when's going to be a great time to connect? However it is, and create some urgency. Your time's valuable. You've got very limited time. And it just creates some excitement and gets you on and off the phone quickly. So 4 appointments on your lunch hour, and then at night is when you did all your follow-up. So you were able to do some calls at night. You had a couple of hours that you do follow-up calls for people that were looking at information, follow-up cleanse coaching, answer questions, probably get on your social media, into your groups, answer questions, and interact with your team there. And then, again, more time for training after about 9 o'clock. Probably don't want to really be on the phone calling people after about 9:30 at night, unless it's a scheduled appointment that you've scheduled earlier. And so it's important, too, I think, don't you think, Lauren, to have people kind of have that framework worked out to know when they're going to do their work, and then have it planned out to know what the best times of day are to do what calls, and give themselves a limited amount of time, and then get out and go do something else or go back to work or whatever it is, so that they stay scheduled and it doesn't feel, it's not like, I don't know, overwhelming or a weight on their shoulder in the back of their mind thinking, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, kind of a thing.
Totally. My sister is in that position right now. I mean, she's got a very demanding director, executive level position, and she sees the opportunity with Isagenix, and she loves helping people, but she's got to find that balance, and she's also married and, has a social life and everything else. And we really spent some time mapping it out, saying you can't come home every single night and do Isagenix. I mean, you have a husband that wants to have dinner with you or wants to go to a movie or whatever is important for that relationship. And so which days of the week was she going to do Isagenix and which ones was she going to be focused? And we're saying if you're with your husband, you can't be on Facebook, you can't be texting, you can't be calling. I mean, you have to put it aside, but when you are going to do Isagenix, that hour or that 2, just make sure that that's all you're doing and getting things done. And she juggles her weekend time like that too. If she works a little bit on Saturday, then she does not open up her business, her Facebook, her email, whatnot on Sundays, because she commits that time to her family or even herself, just having downtime from everything she does. Or Saturday, they go out and they go for a hike or they go for a bike ride and they're shopping and this, then maybe she'll work a little bit on Sunday. But I think having that structure and that outline really with number one is what are the goals? What are you setting yourself up to do and how much time is it going to take to get there? And those boundaries is what will keep you propelling forward and prevent you from burning out.
Absolutely. And it is so important. Balance is so important in this business. I mean, in life in general, it absolutely is. In our culture, we tend to run 100 miles an hour with our hair on fire all the time, a little bit more, I could do a little more. And you will. Eventually you'll burn yourself out, even when it's really good stuff. So it is very important that you set those boundaries, that you, just like Lauren just said, that, especially with families. I mean, when we started Isagenix, again, 7 kids at home, and my husband too, you don't want your family to feel like they're getting your leftovers, but you want them to be partnered with you so that you have the freedom to really go after your goals and your dreams, and they support that freedom. All of you succeed together. So that's perfect. So we've got about another maybe less than 10 minutes to wrap the call, Lauren. So what I'd love for you maybe to talk a little bit about now, a year into your business, great success. You've got a booming team. What are some of your tips? Maybe first we'll talk about what are the things that you're doing kind of to create duplication in your team, and then as far as training and launch parties, what you've seen that has been very successful for you. And then we'll finish with kind of your top tips on really creating success in your Isagenix business.
Well, I think that almost a minute. Those might be the same question a little bit. But when I was in Kansas City, my very first ICU, I met Kayla Kraft, and I had no idea who she was at the time. Realized she was this up-and-coming young entrepreneur, very successful, and I remember just asking her what she was doing, and she said, I had a launch party every week, every summer, all summer. I had one every single week. And I just said, okay, I can do that. And I came back and I said, we're all going to have launch parties all the time. And whether 0 people come, 1 person comes, 20 people come, we're going to do it. And this is how we're going to share our story and make it really personal outside of Facebook or calling people. And so one of the very first things I did was I set up what I call Wind Down Wednesday, which has been an opportunity meeting we've been doing every Wednesday for many, 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 many months. And I started doing weekly launch parties, and that is duplicatable because I have a team in California that now does Thrive Thursday, similar to where we got, from Emily and Hayden's Time Out Tuesday, but it's consistent, and it's at the same place at the same time every single week. And so the team knows they can send their guests there, and we're consistent, and I think that helps build your credibility. And so when people are like, oh, is this a fad? Is this something she's been doing for the last month? That they know we've been doing this, and we're in that same place. And more than that, the amount of people attending has grown. So the first few weeks, it was like me and my sister, and maybe me and my sister and one other person. And I was like, oh, my gosh, how many weeks are we going to do this? And, we've had over 75 people now, and I'm like, we've only been doing this a matter of months. I mean, we've split days and talked about moving venues because we've just outgrown that space. We do a welcome call every single week, and so anybody who gets started, any new associate knows to call in on this number, and it's the same time, same day every week, and it's just me and another other leader on there just answering questions and making sure that they receive their box, making sure everything is in the box that's supposed to be, nothing's missing, that, they've been invited to the Facebook group and those types of things, just to support them and just to let them meet the team and know that we're warm, we're welcome people, and that we're there to help them. We do a team call every single week, and so being able to get everybody caught up to speed. Not everybody's going to go to an event to be able to do recaps from events or just go over topics of overcoming objections or rank advancement bonuses or what happens when someone asks for the, why you need the Social Security number, or how do you create a consultant on purpose, or how do you get people to events, or any topics. We do the team call every single week just to keep people in the game, keep people in momentum, inspired, answering their questions. And we've really just tried to simplify things. And most recently, Cindy and I were chatting about this together in Vegas, but Eric Worre said, if you can't go 10 levels deep into your business and ask someone, what are the first 3 steps you need to get started, your business isn't going to duplicate. It's not, you have to tighten that up because people don't know. And I started thinking, how do we do that? And so that's something that we've really been working on the last few weeks. And much like Lynn Hagedorn has, everyone starts here in kind of steps 1, 2, 3. And Zach and Eden did a great job with our easy systems, boom, boom, boom. And Isagenix has a flow, and just making sure you have that if you were to ask someone a year from now, 2 years from now, way beyond your 4 PET, what are the first 3 things you do to get started, that answer should be universal for your team and your team's culture and that flow. But that's really something we've been, I think, working on the most, and just keeping it simple and using the tools. In the beginning, I, because of my background, was able to explain these products to people because I understood them. But most people will not, and people don't have to. You just have to have this great story. And so really teaching people to use the tools.
Awesome. So why don't you share what you feel like those first 3 steps are that you talked about when we were in Vegas that you're working on?
Yes. So what we're really trying to work on and get into a PDF and just start sharing with everybody is step 1 being learn it, step 2 being share it, and step 3 being schedule it. And basically the learn it phase is sending people iSamovie and just getting familiar with the products and our different areas, the different solution areas that we have, not to be an expert at them, but to understand the athlete line a little bit different than the healthy aging line, a little bit different than the weight loss options, right? Share it, teaching them what they're posting on Facebook and how to get it offline, or what is the verbiage to send into an email, or even how to respond when someone compliments you. And then schedule it is basically just the verbiage to get a 3-way call. We've got, teaching them, Lynn and Lisa DeMeo, they have a podcast on how to do a three-way call and then just setting that up and letting the expert pretty much talk, after they introduce the expert and the prospect, that the host is not very much engaged in the conversation and letting the expert overcome the objections and, really close the prospect. And my hope is that 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, we were to ask someone, hey, Steph, I know you got started a few weeks ago. What are the first things you did to find your two? And she would say, I went to iSamovie, I watched the video, I posted on Facebook, and then I scheduled a three-way call with my mentor. And if we can get every single person to just simplify it and repeat it, that's really what we're working on right now.
That's excellent. Really, really good. Yeah. So, what I love about this, too, and what Lauren and I talked about when we were together is that simple 3 steps, that's good for everybody. This isn't just for people that want to build a big business. This is for helping people find their two, helping people order smart, get cash back on their products. Everybody starts as an associate because it's the best account to get. You get the best pricing on all the systems and packs, and it puts you in a place where you can make some cash back towards your product. And so just like she just said, that 3 simple steps, learn it, share it, schedule it, to help people get into action fast is ideal. Good job, Lauren. Really awesome. Is there anything else that you would like? So much amazing information. You're incredible. It's so easy to see, all of your success and why you've had such success with Isagenix. You're so focused and disciplined and motivated. I love it. So much excitement. Is there anything else that you want to share just as we kind of wrap up the call? Anything that you would say to these guys if they're brand new, or maybe they've been in the business for a little while and their business is kind of stalled? What encouragement would you give them?
Oh, well, you're so sweet, and thanks again. And, as much as we do want to treat this like a business and you do want to have goals, a couple of things. One of them is just to remember the fun factor. And this is not a regular job, and there's so many places in our lives, whether it was, with teachers when we were growing up, or bosses, or somewhere where someone's saying, you didn't do this well enough. Don't do that. Don't do that. You didn't do this. Work harder. And even when you work really hard and you think that you've met a quota or something you should be celebrated, then the bar gets raised higher, and you're brought down. It wasn't good enough. And Isagenix is all about lifting people up. It's all about celebrating your success and rewarding you and cheering people on. And, I've had people call me and they're like, I called 10 people today and I think I said it wasn't compliant and I didn't enroll anybody. And I'm like, but you called 10 people. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just really trying to keep the focus of that. And we do a lot of things as a team. Jill Bowman talked about her Saturday morning hangouts, and we didn't have it coined like that, but we do brunch or, happy hour or something once a month or every couple of weeks together. And we go to coffee shops together to make our calls, our follow-up calls, and to build those relationships and check in with each other, because there will be that time someone's like, oh, my gosh, no one's calling me back, no one's emailing me back, I haven't enrolled somebody in a couple of weeks, and you need someone to just be like, it's okay. I didn't enroll someone for 3 weeks, but I put 4 orders in this week, and just people to cheer you on and build that belief in you. And I think the thing that I love the most is just really celebrating people. And when I first was coming out of into the ranks and really jumping into Isagenix, Jenny and Cindy, they just spoiled me. And I would get cards and I would get flowers, and I was like, what is this for? And never, ever in my life did I receive a holiday bonus, or never in my life did I receive a gift or a promotion. I was self-employed, and I was a waitress, I was a trainer. That made me feel so good. And all those nights I was working so hard, I was like, someone recognizes that. And I've just paid that forward. I had 2 girls hit Crystal Director yesterday, and, one of them got a Lulu jacket and the other one got a bouquet of flowers today, because I wouldn't have a team without all of them. And I know they made sacrifices over the holiday to get where they want to be, and just really embracing people's hard work and celebrating that and recognizing that. Then that's the thing, I think, it just is the glue that keeps your team together and keeps it so fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you do a beautiful job of it, Lauren. You really do. You have a heart of gold. You've sent me flowers before. I love you. I love flowers. It's so fun. And I agree with you. I think that the opportunity with Isagenix is amazing. And people start, Michael says it all the time, people start for the products, they stay for the money, but they fall in love with the culture and just to be in a place, because the world is so hard on people. every single day, and to be connected to a company and an organization and a community of people that are so just believe the best in you and cheer you on and support you and are as excited or more excited about your success than their own. Where do you find that anywhere today other than Isagenix and this amazing culture and maybe other companies, in the network marketing industry? It really is so special what we have, and the flowers and the Lululemon jackets and all the fun stuff. Sometimes those little gifts even speak louder than the big bonus checks and the income that you can create. It's because people they feel validated, they feel connected, and they feel important and recognized. And it's so important, and you really sincerely, you do a fantastic job of it on your team, Lauren. So kudos to you. I just want to thank you. You're such a beautiful girl. Thank you so much for all your time tonight, all of your incredible just wealth of ideas and input. I love your story and your energy and your heart, and just feel really, really thankful and blessed every day that God brought us you onto our team, Lauren, and thank you for all that you pour into your team and everyone that's privileged enough to know you. So we just want to thank you so much for being on the call tonight with us. And
thank you. I feel the exact same way, and it was an honor to be here. So thank you.
You bet. All right, so we will talk to everybody next Monday, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And remember, this week is our Crystal Director deadline. So everybody, I want to hear it. I want to see it in the group. Who's running to hit that Crystal Director deadline and make a nice $1,000, $750 to $1,000 before Christmas? All right, everybody have an awesome night. Bye, Lauren.